We all finally made it back together.
Yay!
And it's only because the duck crashed yesterday.
It's only because of some fuckery.
Pretty much. But, hello, hi. Welcome to the Cup TV, part of the Currently Unnamed Podcast Network, where we put the real in the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy, say something gay, and it's morning, so I have caffeine. When do I not have caffeine on this podcast? So let's be honest. I'm drinking a blood orange and lemonade caffeinated beverage today because that's what I wanted, and those were the first two things I grabbed out of my pantry. That's all.
Okay. Well, hello. Hi. What's up? I am Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. I should have grabbed something caffeinated, but I didn't feel like going to grab anything caffeinated, so I just grabbed my water. And so I'm just going to drink that. I don't know how my energy is going to be because, as Logan says, it's morning and I don't do mornings. But that's okay. I'm going to do it today and we're going to have a good time. But if I was drinking anything else, probably something caffeinated like some tea, I probably would be drinking it out of my cup mug. Ooh, a panel full of cup mugs.
You can see it very well. Okay.
Yes, it's a gloomy day here. So,
okay.
Yes, we love that. Panel full of cup mugs, but and you can be cool like us and get your cup mugs or any of our cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com, where the link will be in the description below. And we do ship domestically here in the U.S. and Mexico and Canada, and we are now back to shipping internationally. So there are no excuses. Get your cup merch, period.
And hi, I'm Jack, the graduated game designer of the panel. Yeah, I was a little busy last week, just like up and down, setting up boring stuff. I'm so boring. But I'm back, and if you hear any dogs barking, that's because we have 3 in the house today, and 2 of them don't like each other.
Ooh.
And because it is noon, black coffee with a little bit of sugar.
Work.
I was going to say, for once, it is actually morning for someone other than me, because sometimes we'll film in the middle of the day where it's still morning for me, but it's afternoon for everyone else. But this time, Lana's joining me in the morning. It's very early for me. I'm not used to this. I think we've only filmed it this time, like 3 or 4 times ever. But
I think a lot of them were like things fell through.
Yes. Or Project Runway is honestly what it is. But we are diving into our penultimate episode of Survivor 46. It's almost over. And the parallels between this and another reality TV show that we wrapped up about a month ago, astronomical, really. Thanks to David Healy for making sure that I recognized the parallels between this and RuPaul's Drag Race season 16.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't realize it at first either, but it is very funny to see a different parallel lineup with the one that we currently have 4 episodes deep. What the hell is going on in this season?
It is what it is, but before we get into it too deep, hit the subscribe button here on this channel, and we appreciate that. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our coverage that we are going to put out. We got a lot of like exciting content coming your way. So you don't want to miss that. And we have 3 other channels in this network of the Cup that you could go subscribe to. All of those things will be in the link tree in the description below. Go subscribe to all of those channels. We got a lot of content coming out on each of those channels, more so on the ringside, and now starting on our main channel, because we got Drag Race coming back, and we got more Drag Race coming back, and so we're revving up there. Ringside is constant weekly stuff happening. Our Eurovision channel is slowing down now because the contest is over, so it's slowing down now. But
Thank God for that.
Don't fret, because juniors will happen soon eventually, and so they'll be right back to
not until we don't get junior until September, so it's fine. That's
like I say, it'll come back, and it'll come back around, and the content will rev back up, but it'll be there. But yeah, subscribe to all of our show's channels so you will never miss some of our exclusive and exciting content. Also, you can join our membership over there in our main channel, or you can join our Patreon. Same exclusive content across all 4 channels and early access as well. So go join either our membership here or on Patreon. And do all those things. And we appreciate you. Thanks.
Perfect.
Now the business stuff is out of the way.
What Lana said.
Yeah, all of that. Let's get into this episode, because wild.
I'll go ahead and say filler episode.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me. I'm going to be honest. With how wild and crazy and back and forth this whole season has been, every single person sitting in the jury currently has been blindsided, and this episode is no exception. But it's also this episode felt so lax, is kind of the best word I can describe it. There's still so much happened, but I left watching this episode being like, oh, that's it? You mean the plan that the majority actually enacted is actually the plan? They didn't flip the plan? Oh, okay. But we come back after Venus was sadly removed from the game via voting procedures. And I love that the immediate comment is, who voted for Kenzie? And we find out, poor Ben. Just poor Ben.
How?
With all of the issues Ben has been having on this season, it really doesn't surprise me that he blanked, was supposed to vote for Venus, and voted for Kenzie.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of the letters in their name line up. That is the only thing that are the same between them. You would literally have to turn the V like this. But we also get who the fuck voted Venice? VENISE. How the
wasn't that Q?
Yes.
It was definitely Q, but
oh,
it's a planet.
That poor baby. But also, you can't ask someone how to spell their name in this game. It's I don't need you to know that I'm voting you out. But it leads into another moment of Ben and his panic attack, night terror. I just feel really bad for this man. I really do. I don't think he's going to win at this point, but I do feel really bad. Maybe Ben was like, oh, I thought we were at Final Tribal Council. I was voting Kenzie to win.
Maybe.
I don't know. Does Ben know where he is? Does Ben know what he's doing? I don't know anymore.
I feel so negative.
Really?
I feel very negative in my heart, and
Oh no.
I hate that I feel this way because I don't feel bad for this man. You signed up for this.
Oh.
I'm sorry. You signed up for this. You knew. But like one thing I will say, he did say he didn't have terrors or night terrors for since he was 12. And this is kind of triggering him. So I can get that and I understand that. But I was just
Yeah.
like, okay. Maybe I do feel bad for this man because
Thank you. I was like, I get it, but also like hearing finally because I was confused as to why it like popped up out of nowhere a couple of
right,
episodes ago,
that
or
was the whole
seemingly out
thing
of
for me.
nowhere.
Right. It
Yeah.
was felt like it was nowhere from to like that's the problem with editing. I feel like they need to give us more story so we can, feel something for these people
Yeah.
or the characters on the show. And I was just like, when it first happened, I was like, oh man, this boy got nightmares. But then you realize how extreme it is. And it's like
Mhm.
every day and every night. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that would be so. I love that Kenzie is there to help him through the night and talk
Mhm.
to him or whatever. But also that's taxing on her game because not only is she now he's having these tears, but now she has to be up to get him through it, and so she's not sleeping when she actually could sleep. And I just was like, it felt like, man, like, dude, seriously. But now that I know the story and how he was like, I had a traumatic experience going camping, being out in that environment after you had a traumatic experience in camping,
Mhm.
it makes it more sense. And it's like, okay, so I get it. But it's just like I know he probably feels horrible because he has to constantly does this and he constantly wakes everybody up, and Kenzie feels the need to have to help him through it. And it's like she's taking away valuable sleep time for her to rest her
Yeah.
body up, which is also going through being hungry and tired and not getting the proper rest, and she's risking that just to help him. I know he feels bad. I do feel bad for Ben. I'm gonna take that statement back. I feel bad for Ben. I feel bad that he is dealing with this situation, but still he signed up for this. So this is something that he had to have known that if I had a traumatic experience camping at 18, going out on an island camping is probably gonna bring back those traumatic experiences. It's probably gonna trigger that. Like that's common sense. It's not gonna be like, oh, I won't feel anything when I go on camping when I've been traumatized by a camping experience and I'm gonna get on the
Right.
show that is literally camping. He had to have known that that could possibly be a trigger. Not saying to stop doing it because you've had traumatic experience. Like face your fears, and even if you have traumatic experience and you feel like you want to do survivor, go do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely go do it because it'll help you. I think it'll help him get over whatever is happening. But I just feel like he probably have known that this was probably something that was probably going to happen.
If you've got severe food allergies that you might have brought onto yourself, go on Survivor anyway.
Sure, but don't complain about not eating anything because you knew.
I was so mad that I wasn't here last week to talk about that because the way she was like, I might have brought these onto myself. I was like, how bad is this woman's divorce? Like, millionaire with alleged millionaire Liz Wilcox. Like, come on now.
I have sympathy for Ben. I have no sympathy for Liz. So, baby girl, you
What?
You do.
What? And then we see Maria breaking down because of the way that Venus attacked her character at Tribal Council, which I didn't remember. My watching of the episode, I was like, I don't remember it being as like dramatic as Maria was making it sound. And then I went back and watched it and I was like, oh no, Venus wasn't the nicest in that regard either. And a lot of stuff has come
It was a
out
little rough.
about Venus in this game. So I'm like, lots of stuff's happening.
I mean, I think Venus, I don't think she was the nicest about it, but I feel like she wasn't wrong.
No, she's
And
not wrong at all.
she wasn't wrong in what she said, because I too would have been like very annoyed with Maria for saying something, for preferencing this whole picking thing by, I want to pick the person who really needs it the most, whose body is breaking down, who really needs to eat. And then you look at Q, who just ate Applebee's a few days
Literally.
ago, and say, okay, between you and Liz, who ain't ate nothing, and you say, let's do rock, paper, scissors.
Like, if you were going to rock, paper, scissors, I think it would have, I mean, Maria kind of screwed up her game in that moment, and if she doesn't win, I honestly think that's going to be part of the reason why. But I was like, if you're going to do that, if that is the option you have chosen to do, then do it between Liz and Venus.
Absolutely.
That makes more sense.
Because Venus
Q's
didn't
not
go
going to be
nowhere.
mad at you for this. Q is going to understand that I literally just had Applebee's yesterday. I'm good.
Right.
Like, he might be a little annoyed, but you can be like, I hope you understand, like, you literally just ate. I wanted to give one of these two girls the up. She just didn't want Venus to go.
Right.
That's what it was. But then don't call yourself, like, I'm not on the Maria hate train. And if you're sending hate to Maria, choose any other activity that's not that, honestly. Because she's getting weird hate for no reason, and it doesn't make sense to me at all. She's getting a lot of hate online. Like, probably the most of anyone this season, and it does not make sense to me in the slightest. But regardless, like, just pick Liz.
Right.
Pick Liz. But
just pick Liz.
It's beyond the point. I did feel bad for Maria. I'm not on the Maria hate train. I am a little bit more neutral to Maria than I was now. And I did feel for her in this moment, like, having your character attacked in that way, especially in front of the jury, when she's built up her game to be this kind of like bigger, not necessarily bigger, but like, she's built up her game so much in the jury's eyes, and then to have someone like directly attack your character in front of them, like, I understand the emotion that came out of that. So
I will say with that, just because I wasn't able to talk on it last week, the fact that you couldn't make a decision of saying one person and had to leave it down to luck for two different people, that's the part where I think that she's probably gonna get called on it. And it's like, why couldn't you just make the decision? Why did you have to, one, make up a reason for two different people and then tell them to play rock, paper, scissors for it? Just say one person. It's something that I think she's gonna get called on for very quickly, and don't see it going well.
If she makes Final Tribal, I absolutely see them like bringing that up for sure. Like, I think that's a guarantee at this point. But what wasn't a guarantee, and I was happy to see, is we go to the next morning and we find out that Liz pooped. Yay! Liz pooped. And then Charlie's meeting up with all of his allies to talk about his pathways to the end of the game. And he's now really, really split between going with Maria and Q or going with Kenzie and Ben. What I'm loving about this season, too, is the season is so fluid. And we kind of got a little bit of that conversation at this tribal where, like, there haven't really been big alliances, but it's been kind of more duos and a more voting block kind of season. And I love those Survivor seasons because it does leave a lot up to, like, it makes the game more interesting. So I'm happy to see it. But Charlie's like, I don't know which group to go with. And that's his entire storyline this episode is, I just don't know. Oh, no. But we'll come back to Charlie because we have to do a reward challenge for Chinese takeout and letters from home, as we later found out. A classic obstacle table maze.
And it was surprisingly really close.
Everyone was in it at one point or another. I think except for Q.
He was in
Q
it.
got in there.
Q wasn't bad. Q wasn't
He was in
bad. Yeah, it came down to Charlie and Liz. And I was like, the chaos if Liz wins this reward. But she didn't. And Charlie ends up taking home the win here. And then obviously we're going to the sanctuary. There's family letters. He gets to pick two people. And I'm very thrilled in this moment that he did take Kenzie and Liz, because that just felt like the fairest thing to do. And he even said that. Like, he said it to them at the sanctuary and at the challenge. Like, it just makes the most sense for the people that didn't have pizza to have the Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
Where Maria didn't play her reward win in a smart way, I think Charlie has really been able to capitalize off of that. And honestly, at this point, I feel like Charlie is maybe better off. If Charlie is thinking about his final endgame scenario, I think Charlie at this point is kind of better off taking Maria and Liz. Only because I think the jury at this point is kind of soured towards Maria. And I think there are several moves that Maria has made that Charlie has benefited off of the back end of. And this being one of them. Like, I was able to very easily make a decision that wasn't going to rock the boat. It was going to keep all of my allies together, which has been his storyline throughout the whole thing. And we hear a little bit more of that in this episode. Like, I'm trying to make sure that whatever move I'm making now, all of my allies are going to be my allies come tomorrow.
I think Charlie taking Maria would make his road harder, in my opinion, because I feel like people will see. I mean, sure, Charlie has one immunity. Charlie has won his own immunity, and Maria has won 3 immunities. But a lot of people see Maria as the brains of the operation, and Charlie is the person who is following behind Maria and doing what Maria says. So I feel like even though she had some bad calls, you can't deny her game, and you can't deny that she made moves that she sent Tiffany home. That's her move. Even though Kenzie brought it up first, it's gonna look like it's Maria's move because Kenzie didn't act on it. She was very vocal about getting Venus out, so that is her move. I feel like she has more moves under her resume than Charlie does, and a lot of people will see Charlie as Maria's sidekick. So I feel like taking Maria to the end with him would be a huge burden on him to win. I'm not saying he couldn't win with Maria there, but I'm saying it would be a harder road for him with Maria there. An easier road for him to be is with somebody like a Ben or a Liz, or because I don't even see Kenzie would be an easy road for him, because Kenzie has such a strong social game that even if she didn't do much in the game, she was very much in the know of everything. And like, that's a social strategy. People just like her, which is a good thing that could win this game. So I think him taking Maria, he has to get rid of Maria at this point, and or he just will have a harder road to travel to get that win.
I see that for sure. I also think we could see a mirrored effect of what we saw last season with Dee and Austin, where Austin thought he was in control, and Dee in the final tribal was like, but actually, here's everything I did to make sure that I was in control the whole time, while making sure that you thought you were in control. I think Charlie is the kind of player, especially with how close he's worked with Maria. He can talk about working with Maria very, very closely throughout the first part of the game. In the second part of the game, though, he has worked with Maria, but he's been able to branch out and be a little bit more well-rounded in his alliances. Maria can't say that. And I think there's a lot of these moves that Charlie was a big part of. And Charlie was part of disseminating that information. Maria might have been the face of the operation, but Charlie was doing all of the work in the background to make sure it was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I see what you're saying for sure. I think we could see a mirror of the Dee and Austin situation with them. But I think I do agree with you that, I mean, his easiest path at the end game is sitting next to Ben and Liz.
Mm-hmm.
By far, no question. Because at this point, I think if he's sitting next to Kenzie, I don't know that he wins.
Right.
And I'm curious if he's going to recognize that. Because I think, honestly, the next best move is to take out Kenzie for Charlie's game.
Okay.
Even though Maria has been, very dominant in challenges, chances are more likely than not, Maria's gonna win the Final 5 immunity. And if she wins the Final 5 immunity, I think he goes after Kenzie at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But scenarios. I love them. I love scenarios. Yeah, so they go to the sanctuary. We hear Liz talking a little bit about finally being at a point in the game with people that she wants to work with, which is nice. I think it's just a case of, like JoJo, too little, too late for Liz. Where I just don't think... I think on another season with people that she gelled with a lot easier, she might have been able to be a more strategic presence. I just don't see it in a similar way to with how I thought about Venus. Like, I just don't think we're at a point where, she is going to be doing anything major strategically, unless she, I don't know, pulls a Chris Underwood, wins the Final 4 immunity, puts herself in fire making, and beats Maria in fire making. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that's really the only real scenario where Liz could win at this point. But Maria is very upset at not getting her letters from home. But we also find out that her and Charlie had a pact where if either of them won reward, they said they weren't going to take the other person. That's got to be rough in this situation. And I don't know what it's like to be a parent, but that's got to be rough.
I'm sure it's a rough situation. I mean, if anybody wants to get some kind of letter from home, regardless if you're a parent or not, you want that feeling of home in a situation that's been kind of tough. And so I feel like all of them, it would have been tough for anybody. But I get the feelings. I get her, and her feelings are valid. It's like, dang, this is the one I wanted to win. This is the one I've been trying to get to so I could do, have the letters from home and blah, blah, blah. But you didn't win. And you made that pact with Charlie. And he could have easily broke the pact and been like, nah, Maria's a parent. But that's not fair to... I feel like he was trying to do the fair thing, like you said, with letting the people who didn't have the pizza go on this reward and eat the food. And it was more for the food than the letter because he didn't know nothing about the letter till after the fact. So it was like, I'm here to make sure that the food is the people who need to eat can eat. And everybody has a fair chance at this, at this next challenge that we're going to do. I think Maria was very vocal and very understanding. She was like, I get it. I know we made the pact. I'm not mad that he didn't pick me. It still hurts because I would love
I'm just in my feelings right now.
Right. I still would love to see the letters from my babies, but the fact that I can't, it's kind of sucky. But I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at the situation because I could have won that. If I would have won it myself, I would have got my letters, but I didn't. So I'm just going to go off, cry by myself.
And I love too that Q and Ben gave her held her space for that.
Absolutely.
I was like that shows me a lot about both of them, and I was really happy to see that. So
because you need that, because sometimes it's like, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the situation, and I am gonna cry about it. I am gonna be in my feelings about it. But just know I'm not mad at anybody in particular. And she went off and did her thing and cried and was like she said, she used that emotion to light that fire. Like, okay, I didn't get to see and get that boost from my babies. But what I am going to do is take this pain and take this hurt that I'm feeling right now and push it into and pull it into a place where it's that fire, that determination that I need to continue to move forward in this game, because that's what I came here for. I came here on this game for my babies. And if I can't get a letter from them, I need to make sure that they're proud of me when I get home. And I need to make sure that when I do come home, I come home with $1 million so that I can make this trip worth it. And that is what she was doing. And that's what she sat on that boat and was centering herself, calming herself, and was getting that fire lit. And baby, did she light it. She lit. That is Mama Bear at its finest. And I was very like, you better go, Maria.
All right, girl.
All right, Maria. I love to see it. I mean, I might not like all the decisions she made, but baby, she was Mama Bear at their finest in this hour. Yeah. And I was like,
absolutely.
Loved it.
So the conversation then at the sanctuary goes to, well, Maria's the biggest threat. We should take out Maria.
Yeah. And
shocker.
Not unsurprising, everyone.
Yes. And then, oh boy, let's go back to camp. In the first kind of moment that we actually get to see or hear from Q in this episode, which also might have been why this episode felt so weird. It's like, I feel like Q has been one of our main narrators for the season. And I think this was, we're halfway through the episode at this point, and this is our first moment that we're actually hearing from Q in confessional. And it seemed like the energy was different. I don't know about y'all, but I was like, this energy of this confessional feels a little bit different.
I mean, so what you're saying is Q has main character energy?
And no, what I'm saying is I think Q filmed this after he was eliminated.
I mean,
that's what it felt like for me. But so they're doing some idol hunting because there is the potential of an idol, because Venus walked out with an idol last episode. This damn cursed idol. What did Tiffany call it? Idolicia. She said something on Twitter about it. She was like, Idolicia strikes again.
Baby, I'm so confused.
Wild.
I am so confused by this whole idol thing. I'm like, y'all, nobody? This has got to be a record. Like, there is no way
it is
5 idols have come into play and walked out of this game in their pockets. Like 5 different people had an idol this season and they all left in their pockets. I'm blown away.
And 4 of them are now on jury.
Right. Like, what?
And 4 of them were back to back.
Or back to back. Like,
and
the math ain't mathin' here.
The craziest thing about all of it is that no one knew Hunter.
No.
Everyone ended up knowing Tiffany's at the end.
Yeah.
Yes. No one knew Venus's. And only Maria knew Q's.
If you haven't figured out who's eliminated in this episode at this point, I don't know what else to tell you. But
if you're not a Drag Race fan and you didn't immediately get it, if you didn't watch the episode, go watch the episode.
I said, if you didn't watch the episode, why are you watching it?
Support Survivor. We're actually trying to get to Survivor 50. But so Q finds the idol.
And I was like, okay, good Q. Good on you, Q. Good on you, Q. Stay another round. Don't go out like that. You got an idol. Don't tell Maria. Oh, you're gonna tell Maria. Okay, sure. Why not?
Honestly, the one person he probably should have told.
Right, sure, fine.
Yeah.
Tell Maria. But then I'm like, you're gonna use it though, right, Q? Because you've been getting votes every week.
No. He directly says, Maria, I will use this on you. And if you are immune, I will use it on myself.
On me. I'm like, absolutely perfect plan.
Professional. Right after he's like, but I want to hold on to this if I can. Like, bitch, you just said one thing. Unless you were talking about Final 5 when you're in Final 6. What the fuck are you doing?
I was like, dude, seriously, you've been getting votes every single week. Like, what do you mean I'm gonna hold on to it? If it was me, that idol wouldn't have made it. Jeff wouldn't have even been able to say, if anybody had, I got it. I'm using it. Idol.
Mine, hello.
Idol.
Jeff would have walked back with the thing, and I'm like, Jeff.
I would have put it on while Jeff walked up to the urn. I'm like, I'm putting on the idol. I don't care.
I'm like, Jeff, I got this bracelet, idol. I got it. I'm using it.
I got these like 6 beads that apparently on this season are an idol.
Like you would not have, Jeff would not even have to have said if anybody wants to play an idol. I'd have been like, man.
I would have played it before the vote started because people have done that before.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, here, Jeff, I'm playing this idol, so they won't even vote for me. So y'all figure out what y'all finna do now. And I wonder what they would have done. Like I literally would have did it right before his time to vote. And we're like, oh, Jeff, before we go vote, here is an idol that I'm going to play for myself. So I won't have to be used. I won't have to have any votes on me. Thank you. So now y'all can figure out who else to vote for because you're not voting for me. Like, what? What? Because we
Period.
Her challenge happens. Y'all, Maria, of course, wins the challenge because she's Superwoman and Supermom, and she's winning everything. This is her 3rd challenge win. She's winning immunities, like racking them up like baseball cards. She's like, my immunity, my immunity, my immunity. And I'm like, okay, playing underwater. Oh, the challenge was they had to jump into some water, do some things.
Obstacle dolphin puzzle. Yeah. I was like, they finally learned from that demon twink Carson Garrett to change up their puzzles. Thank you.
Yeah, change your puzzles because
change your puzzles. Change them around.
Because we're doing 3D puzzle makers and doing things and creating.
I was like that reference.
It's so weird, but yeah.
The number of drag race crossovers in this episode are astronomical.
It's a little too much.
If I had a nickel for every time I made a drag race reference in this Survivor episode, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's a weird coincidence that it's happened twice. Well, at first Ben was in the lead in the puzzle, and I was like, "Come on, Ben!"
Right.
Yeah. And then Maria won, which I'm not mad at, but we did skip over. I want to go back for a second because we skipped over my favorite part of the episode.
Yes.
Where we just get back and forth confessionals between Charlie and Maria being like, is she going to take me out? I don't think she's going to take me out. I absolutely think he might take me out, but like I need to take him out before he takes me out.
No.
I think she thinks that she's going to take me to the end. I'm going to take her to the end, but in reality, that's not the case. I'm like the editing in this sequence was so good.
Both of them are actively convinced that the other person has not actively planned to take them out while they have actively planned to take the other person out. It is wonderful. And honestly, if this was the episode that was considered for the Emmy, I wouldn't have been surprised if we didn't have the I'm pissed episode about 2 episodes
I'm
later.
pissed.
But yeah, I mean, thankfully they gave them fucking free reign with the Survivor confessionals, and thank God has the editing team stepped it up. So
Yes. Easy.
But
So, yes, Maria wins. So they can't vote out Maria.
Nope.
So they recognize the 4 jesters of the court, as they've now called themselves, which I kind of love. I'm not even gonna lie. They decided that, you know, if they can't take out Maria, they're gonna take out Q. But as we've seen several times before, every vote, the name has been Q. And Q still hasn't gone home. But for real this time, y'all, we're voting out Q.
For real.
Meanwhile, Maria is like, this is my chance. We're taking out Charlie. And Q is like, yeah, we're taking out Charlie. And so they pull Kenzie to take out Charlie. And then Q looks Liz in the face and says, you're voting with us, right, to vote out Charlie?
Huh?
Did you not understand the whole thing that Liz said about you 2 nights ago? 2 nights ago, Q, we had this conversation where Liz was like, I don't like this man. Why now do you think? Like, that's where, like, I think this actually could have worked if Maria was the one to initially approach Liz.
Yep.
I think it could have happened. I don't know that it's 100%. Puppy. But there is a possibility that this plan could have gone off no problem. And they actually could have taken out Charlie.
But
and then in the midst of all of this, Charlie is like, well, I don't want to leave Maria out of the vote.
What?
So he pitches Q to Maria. And Maria is so unaware of the game around her in this moment that she's like, oh, yeah, no, I think Charlie is just pitching Q as like I'm going along with the plan, blah, 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 blah. But like, I have the votes to take out Charlie. Do you, girl?
I was like,
do you, girl?
Are you kidding me? What, are you kidding me? Are you big dumb or dumb dumb? Because like, it was so dumb for you to sit there and like, Maria is like, oh no, Q, you're fine. You don't have to play that idol. You're good. What?
Huh?
What?
Huh?
I think we have to vote. What? Did this man just not come say how you guys do? And you're like, oh no, it's fine. We're good.
Okay. Give me a second.
Anyway.
So, family dropped off a dog.
Good.
Yeah, so, hi. You've been here for an hour. Could you fucking not?
Darling, what do you think of Survivor? Are you rooting for Kenzie?
Okay. Look over there. Okay, nope, not me. Over there. What do you think of Survivor? Okay.
It's chaos.
Just keep going.
Great.
It's chaos.
It's chaos. Yes, we got it. But yeah, we go to the vote, and this is maybe the most anticlimactic vote of the season. Because I was I don't see Kenzie or Liz voting out Charlie in this moment.
Nope.
Okay.
He just took him to Chinese food. You're not going to vote out the person who just took you to Chinese food.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's just like everything is spelled out perfectly, and it's about to be a 4-2 vote but Q's gonna play the idol because it's the most obvious move and
Guaranteed spot in the final 5.
Absolutely.
Okay, and we are. Oh my God, you dick! We are actively. Okay, literally, you don't have to grab anything. I swear to God, I love you, but don't. You are going for a third.
Anyway, Q gets voted out.
But we literally see every single vote. We see every single vote for the first time in the history of the show. Which, what?
I was like, huh?
This is the most obvious telegraph for Q playing the idol. It's the most obvious. Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Jen's
okay.
asking for idols. We're asking for idols. We're asking for idols. And Q doesn't play his idol. Oh my God.
I was confused. I was so confused.
It does nicely wrap up the storyline of Q has been the smokescreen for people not using their idols.
Yeah.
And the only proper way for Q to go out is with an idol and being blindsided.
Yep.
I don't understand how you're blindsided when you've been getting votes every week. That is not a blindside. Like, sir, you got a freaking idol. Freaking use it. What? It doesn't make sense to me. I was very confused and annoyed by all of that. But
and it does mean that 2 competitive reality shows this year have had a contestant named Q voted out in the penultimate competitive episode.
We love that for Qs all over the world.
So that's that. Next week is the finale. I don't know if y'all noted this. They don't have to do that new beach bullshit this time.
Oh, yeah. Either that or they just didn't tell us.
Well, I have a theory.
And I agree with your theory.
I think that they're planting an idol. And they're going to want an idol to be played at Final 5.
And Maria's going to find the fucking idol, isn't she?
Maria's going to find the idol, and she's going to walk out with the idol in her pocket.
She's going to win immunity.
There's
so
no
she's not
fucking
gonna need
way.
It.
Oh, true.
She's going to win immunity.
No, she's going to win immunity.
Well, we'll see.
So, I mean, let's talk about the finale. I mean, I will say, unfortunately, for me at least, this is the finale that I think I've been the least excited about, at least for a while. It just, a lot of the big players are like the people that I was directly rooting for kind of all dried up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was rooting for Tiffany. I was kind of rooting for Venus. I mean, I was rooting for Q in the sense that I was wanting him to be continually chaotic. And I mean, I'd be happy with Maria winning. I'd be pretty happy with Charlie winning because they both have kind of earned it throughout the season. But it's expected. And Kenzie as well. But there are 3 obvious people who can win. And then 2 people who are goats and will lose at the end. And it is literally just figuring out, okay, is Maria getting shot out of cannon or is she winning? If she gets shot out of cannon, does Charlie win or Kenzie win?
I'm intrigued to see how those 3 specifically are going to navigate the next 2 situations, the next 2 tribals. But at this point, y'all, who do we think is winning Survivor 46?
Kenzie.
I feel like Maria gets cut, so it ends up going to Kenzie.
I'm going to say that there's a blank space on some parchment at the end of the game, and they write in Charlie's name.
He was my other choice.
Taylor Swift reference.
Oh, yep, I caught that a little bit later. God damn it.
Thank you.
Blank Space is a
Blank
Taylor
Space.
Swift song.
Yeah, no, that means nothing to me.
Well,
Yeah.
understood.
But realistically, I mean, Maria has been shown to do fire. So if she makes Final 5, she likely wins the season. So she has to find an idol or she has to win immunity. Otherwise, she goes home. And then from there, I mean, if she goes out, probably Charlie wins immunity, takes Ben, Kenzie and Liz fire. My thought, at least. I don't know if y'all have.
I would
else.
love for someone random like Liz to win the final immunity. Honestly, just to add a little bit of spice to the end of the season. I love Romeo, but
yeah.
That is where we're going to leave this conversation for this week. We'll be back next week to talk about the finale of Survivor 46. We are almost done with both of our CBS reality shows for now. We're literally about to go talk about the Amazing Race finale, so make sure to check that out as well. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share on the way out. Thank you so much for joining. Let us know your winner picks down in the comments below. In the description below, you can find many things, including but not limited to all of our other YouTube channel links, our audio podcast links, and our membership channel links, our social media links, at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, all of our personal Twitter and social media links, and the link to go get your merch, including but not limited to Cup Mug, down there as well. Cup Mug, thank you, Lana. And with that being said, we're going to get out of here with our cup mugs, because cup mug, get your cup mug.
Cheers.
Cup mug,
They're
cup
international mug. Again. Get them. I don't know how to end this. We haven't done this in a while.
Bye.